Namaste. I bow to the divine presence in you. This is an awesome day. This is the opportunity for us to wake up, to be conscious, to be sound-minded. Today's Michelleology Involution Meditation. Welcome into the day. We're going to continue our series on the 12 disciples of the mind, or the 12 disciplines of the mind. We've covered Peter, which is the rock, Simon Peter. The rock, the hearing of God is the first principle. We've covered Andrew, which is the brother, which is bringing strength and courage. And remember, we talked about if two or at least two of these principles are touching and agreeing, anything that you should call, anything that you should ask will come forth. So now we're on the third principle. The third principle is James, the son of Zebedee. And his name, or his discipline, or his aspect or factor is the righteous judgment. So we've all heard that don't judge me, or you should not judge. But there's a righteous judgment. And the righteous judgment comes from the insight, not the eyesight. For God looks on the heart, where man looks on the outer appearance. So God looks on the heart. So when you come to this third principle, James, the son of Zebedee, which is the rightful judgment or the righteous judgment, that means mentally you begin to look at people's heart instead of their outer appearance. So when you begin to place judgment, it will be a righteous judgment. It will be a heart judgment. It won't be you looking at what they have on, what they're saying, where they've been. All those things, you begin to look at the heart. So when we get this aspect of the mind, this factor, this principle, this quality, where we begin to see not just other people from the inside out, but we begin to see ourselves from the inside out. And we can begin to forgive people. We can begin to forgive ourselves as we move into this principle. This principle is an awesome factor because we're always looking at people from the outside. And then instead of going into the inside of God, looking into that inside eye where we can see what God sees. And therefore we can judge what God judged. And so we begin, remember that your brain, when you're calling or you're talking about somebody or you're gossiping about somebody, your brain does not know that you're talking about somebody outside of you. Your brain places that inside of you. Your brain thinks you're calling yourself that. Your brain begins to turn that back in. That's why it talks about karma. Because we are sowing and reaping. So if you're sowing and that kind of language inside of you, then you are going to reap the very thing that you sown. And so we have to be very conscious and mindful. We have to wake up and know that the righteous judgment is a discipline, is a disciple. We have to call it. We have to summons it. We have to teach it. We have to study it. All of these principles, once you obtain and maintain all of these principles, your whole life will change. Your whole thinking, your whole creative process will change. Your health will change. Oh my God, your money will change because your energy is changing. Remember, money is energy. As your energy changes, it's not more jobs or more hours or better pay. It's changing your energy because God has given us authority over our land. So we have been conditioned to let outside interference determine what our financial psychology is. Did you not know that finances is a psychology? It is a mind thing. It is an energy thing. And so as we begin to elevate, as we begin to expand, as we begin to create the 12 disciplines of the mind, we begin to create a better us, the highest version of us. We'll be able to go places that we never thought we could go. Because remember, God said, call those things. So when he was saying call those things, we thought a calling was in ministry or something, and you can be called to that. But you have to hear the calling first of the 12 disciples of the mind, where Jesus is the I amness in your mind. Anything that you put behind I am, I continue to say that. You're writing a check that will always be cashed, whether it's negative or positive. And so we have to be very mindful of what we're putting behind I am. I am is God's name. I am is the creative force. I am is the principle, mind focusing thing of God. And so if you're looking at Jesus as your principle mentality, your mentalism, he brings along 12 principles, 12 disciplines to aid us in walking this life. So James, the third principle, is the righteous judgment, where we go with the insight and not the eyesight. And so as you begin to look at things, you'll be looking at them from the insight of the heart, the righteous judgment, the God. When it says we shall come before God and he shall judge us, he's going to judge us by our heart. He's covered the sin. So now he has to judge us from the inside out instead of the outside in. And so that is the Jesus principle. That is the covering. That is the will that God has left us. When Jesus died, he covered everything. And so now we're in a place that we don't have to be so conscious of sin, because when you get the 12 principles, sin is not an option. Oh my God. When you get those principles, you totally dismantle sinning. You stop talking about people. You stop judging people. You stop having wrong thoughts about people. When you get the 12 aspects, the 12 disciplines, then you move into another dimension of God. And so today, if you haven't listened to the other two principles, please go back. You have to go back and back, because we're studying these. We're developing them. We're expanding our consciousness. We're going forth. We're waking up. And as we begin to wake up, we begin to turn our lives on a 360 degree. When I say turn, I mean turn. Did you know that the very things that you think upon, you create? Remember, Peter is the rock. So what you're thinking about is setting a foundation for your frame, for your building, for your temple, for your life, for your expansion. So we are now focusing on those 12 principles. When we get those 12 principles, those 12 disciplines, those 12 disciples, we are going to move to some great things in God. So we're going to begin to do our meditation. And today we're going to meditate on looking at people from the heart aspect. Now, the heart is where the issues of life flow. So sometimes people are flowing because they have an issue. And before we can make judgment on what they're saying, we need to go in with the insight and see the heart. So God will uncover that to you. When you go into a situation and not react. Reacting is when you get mad, upset, jealous, turned off by what someone is saying. It says be quick to hear. So when you're quick to hear, you're not going to react to what they're saying. You're going to respond, because God is going to speak to you, show you their heart. Then you will get the clear understanding as to why they're reacting or they're saying what they're saying. It causes you less stress. It causes you not to be angry. Remember, anger is one letter from danger. So why are we upset about everything? Why are we disturbed by everything? It's because you are not disciplining your mind. You do not have those 12 factors up and running in your mind. So today we are going to meditate on having a righteous judgment. The first judgment we're going to meditate on is our own heart. We're going to go into our own heart and begin to see what are some of the things that we need to deal with. And as we begin to deal with our heart, and as we begin to see ourselves in a different light, you are your worst critic. You are your worst person that comes down on yourself. And when you remedy that, then you will not come down on other people for what they're doing. Everybody has their own will. God has given us a free will. That means we have a will. We cannot change other people's wills. And so because we can't change other people's wills, we have to be totally in authority of our will. So close your eyes. Begin to breathe from your bottom chakra. This time I want you to take the breath to your heart. Stop the breath at your heart. Release. Let's bring it up to our heart, because remember, we're doing righteous judgment. We're looking at the heart. We're the inside and not the outside. Breathe in again, the outward appearance. Now, some of you have a cluttered heart, and we've talked about the heart before, where if the arteries of the heart, the physical heart, are clogged, they cause you to have a heart attack. And the doctors always put, when your heart stops beating, the doctors put a machine on you, and the machine causes a rhythm to hit your heart, and it causes life to come back in. So they'll say clear. As they say clear, we're going to go into our hearts and begin to clear the things. I want you to focus on, what is it that you're so angry about? Or who is it that you're so angry with? And we're going to clear that today. Because yes, people have done things to us. Yes, people have said things about us. But that was in the past. They're not saying it now. So when we go into our heart and we begin to meditate, let's begin to clear out the anger. Clear out the frustration. Clear out the hurt. Clear out the pain. We want to clear that. We want to feel, if you can, put your hand over your heart. Begin to experience the beat, the rhythm, the vibration. That as you begin to clear, then your heart can beat on a different level, on a righteous judgment level, on the principle of James, the son of Zebedee. We're judging our heart. Forgive yourself for whatever decisions you made. The same venom, if you ever get a snake bite, the way they treat the patient, and this is in most medicine, is they take the same venom as the serum to heal you, which is the same venom that can kill you. So as you look in your heart, the very things that have hurt you, that have tried to destroy you, that have tried to manipulate you, that take that same venom and use the law of polarity, knowing that there's another side, and use it. The thing that people meant for evil, God will turn around for good. So let's forgive ourselves. Let's forgive those people. Let's forgive parents, friends, co-workers. It is too heavy for you to carry that. It is too heavy. It's causing blockage in your heart. It's stopping up your hearing from God. So we have to release and forgive, allowing our heart to beat as it has been designed to beat. The reason God says love your enemies, because if you turn it around, like you hate your enemies, if you turn it around and love your enemies, your heart beats at a different beat. Unconditional love. Loving people around you unconditionally. Loving yourself unconditionally. Breathe one more time. Feel the heartbeat. The sounds that you hear in the background are angelic sounds, vibrations to breathe life back into your heart, to clear your heart, to feel the impact of what it feels like to have a clean heart and a renewed spirit and a righteous judgment. Let's breathe one more time there. Now we're back as the peace of God begins to release in the third principle, the third disciple, the third discipline of your mind, a righteous judgment. You can only righteously judge someone from the heart, because you would have the compassion. What we don't have It's the compassion for someone else. We don't even have compassion for ourselves. The compassion has to be restored in the righteous judgment. So as you begin to see people as God sees people, as God sees you from the inside, this I amness, you'll begin to be able to change your enemies to those. You'll begin to love them. You'll be able to change what you think about them. You'll be able to move beyond the eyesight. So the I amness of God, which is Jesus, which is the mentality, begins to call those disciples in so that they're able to assist in your walk on this earth. Yeah, so this is Michelle, and I am your motivator. Do not miss it tomorrow. We are going to the 4th principle. By the time we reach the 12th principle, your life is going to be in a 360-degree turnaround. Your thinking would change. Your energy would change. Your money would change. Everything about you, you're going to reach the highest potential of who God has purposed, destined, and called you to be. Remember, you've been created by the Creator to be creative. So start creating your creations and stop duplicating this stinking thinking, this old process. God is doing a new thing. This is a new heaven and this is a new earth. And we are going to flow. We are going to flow with the energy and power. Remember, you've been created. So let's create. I hope the love, God, power, joy, and sound mindedness, as you begin to righteously judge yourself first and then others. Be blessed in the Lord.